It's the 17th. I think it's a Thursday. Epidemic sound instrumental music without, excuse me, without a copyright. Epidemic. You should Google that, and I like to just listen to it with my headphones on, whether I'm on a little podcast or not. It's just, I don't know, very soothing, and it just goes on and on. This track is like 3 hours, and you can put it on repeat, which I think I have it on repeat. Let me check. Oh, God. I gotta move. Yeah. There we go. That's another. Yeah, there we go. Repeat. Yeah, shuffle play, which. See, here's a little slider. I can just. Whoop, go back to previous. Yeah, we can move it ahead a little bit. I like this. Alright, so now I'm going to slide it back in position. I don't know what that is. Let me get rid of that. Slide that over there. Just click on that. See, and then I have the... I can see what's going on with Epidemic. And I can pause it, or I can get it going again. This is coming right off the internet. I have this particular thing on my Google Chrome browser, just so I can find it. I'll click on here and tell you what I should be running in. You see up here, Academic? And then I can click on here to do another, which I'm not going to do. So let me just click on that, and then this, I keep bumping into you. This whole Ecamm Live. You know, with the internet, you can find some unbelievable things. I mean, I put together this whole little, you can see the camera. And I got my iPad here. I've got my MacBook Pro, not the M version, the one right before it. You see, I got two high-speed thingies there, and then I have two high-speed thingies on this side. And I have a thing I plug in that gives me two extra USB B terminals. Gives me a power out. You know, so there are like 7 different options I have in there, and connecting more stuff to the MacBook Pro. And you know, the M version of this notebook costs the same amount of money, maybe $50, similar. But the M is really new, and it you know, it runs lightning fast for Apple stuff. But I don't have any Apple stuff. Everything here is like, you know, unique stuff, like this Ecamm Live software. They update it about every week. I think it's getting very popular. Yeah, they don't give it away. I pay like $20 a month to have their service, which allows me to do lots of things. Namely, I'm uploading to Facebook. So it goes Facebook Live. I'm looking behind here to see. All right, we're all up to date. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, it's amazing. So here's my epidemic music link, which I just double click that and it goes right to Google Chrome and starts. Here's my Ecamm Live, which is down here also. I don't know if you should be able to see what I'm talking about. And then I just hit Command 2. Let me turn this down just a little bit. I don't want to be competing with Epicurious too bad. Just pretend you're in a dentist office waiting for to get drilled. You got a little music pipes in there between the phone calls. And you can see the time here, 11:51. That's an app. That's an Apple app. It's called Clocks. Ingenious name there, CLOCKS. And you can have digital flipper dappers. You can. I like this traditional look, and I have it on a iPad Mini, so that it's visible. So if people have to go to an 11 to 12:30 lunch, they can know they can rock it out of here. And you also can see on my iPad right here, I've got a oops, I gotta press this. There you go. See, there's a clock there. And it's amazing, all the second hands are perfectly in sync. I don't know how they do that. Then I got, there you go. See, the second hand is down there, 35, 40. Look at that watch face, that's pretty cool. I got, keeps my steps. This is my heart rate. It's been as low as 63 and a high of 105 today. It keeps resetting itself. And it's 81 degrees outside. I have a timer on here so I can, you know, do time. Let me set it for an hour. We don't want to be on more than an hour. Please. Okay, and I've got 1,628 steps already. You know, fritzing around at Publix and all that. I walk up and down the aisles in Publix. You know, and I gently look for stuff because I don't want to buy stuff I don't need. And it's a way of, you know, floating around and saying hi to the people that work there. And, you know, you can walk with the cart. And, yeah, gets you a little aerobics, very little, but, you know, when you're 103, you got to do whatever you got to do. All right, so if I hit, like, yeah, so if I see there's a little hint there, Control 2, it splits the screen exactly equally, so you can see what I'm doing here. You can see it in two places. There's about a half a second delay, because this is connected to that, that's connected to that, and this goes this way, and that. I mean, it's really, I have these all covered up with black napkins. Brown says, well, what do you got all the, because there is a bundle of wires back here. If I could peel that camera off and just show you, it's, you know, I want to see if I can do that. See if there's a way to slide that thing out of there so I can just, you know, zoom around. It's not, yeah, the camera's like $60. I could just get another one, you know, plug it in here. So I'd have two cameras going at the same time. One from this angle. Yeah, I ought to do that. I think I will do that. Okay, and this is a really dandy little super wide angle. It has a manual focus ring on it. So you have to, you know, so I focus on the keyboard. You know, there's not a lot of movement here. I'm sitting here. But where am I going? And this equipment. So you got the soundboard. Pretty cool little device right there. Let me angle this a little bit more towards JimmY. There we go, so you can see it on the camera. You can see the levels. If I talk You know, it just keeps everything so that it's in balance. And I have it coming out as a stereo output. You could actually have four. I could have a channel for each one of these sources. This is running. This is coming off the main board here. It shows it like a little iPhone there, but it's actually the iPad. So we can cut that back a little bit. And these two microphones, that is your normal setting right there. This is like a brighter line right there. And so if I do that, you know, this is like super. These microphones are like, oh my God. You know, so I'm going to go one down a little bit. This is a Sony microphone I found in a box. Hello, Sony. This is a real wide, has a wide range. So in case this is like goes really deep. Sounds like you're almost like a radio guy. But I'm not. Anyway, people in Kentucky like me. I sound like one of those guys that makes the bourbon. All right, so I'm gonna go down one more nozzle there. So we don't want to overmodulate our, what do you call it, our Facebook Live thing. There's some way of getting a more advanced version of Facebook Live. And I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I haven't spent any time trying to figure that out, but I understand there is a more advanced Facebook Live for like commercial people. I mean, I'm little tiny commercial people, but you know, in case you had like a everyday podcast, I kind of come on whenever I get the urge, and you can see up on the podcast. What you call it there? It says podcast 210617. So that's pretty easy to figure out how I come up with that, right? Anyway, so the main thrust of the conversation here is Tesla talk. See, it says Tesla talk right there. And the Tesla talk, since I have a Tesla 200 miles ago, the odometer is 0.0000216. So I don't have a lot of miles on that puppy yet. I just got it Friday. So tomorrow makes 1 week. And it is a marvelous, you know, it's a $54,000 car. So 54.5. It includes transportation, you know, tag, all kinds of stuff. But these guys really deliver a car. You know, in 30, 40 years, you know, Marilyn and I have gotten a lot of cars. And we've had all of them. We've had the Mercedes station wagon. Marilyn had I believe it was a gold 450 SL 2-seat convertible. And I had the thingy where you can raise the hood. It had a hard rooftop, so you can like hoist that up on a pulley. And you know, then she's got a convertible, and of course the convertible would be down because she just lifted the hard. So and she runs off with her girlfriends with the top down. And you know, she was 28 to 38, you know, in that age group. You know, she, boy, did the heads turn when she showed up, you know. And then her friend, which was you know, a blonde-headed lady from New Orleans. So you know, you can just imagine this 450 SL running down the road, and you got the hair flying and the big sunglasses and the, you know, some kind of head covering. I mean, these two were, oh God, they'd walk in a restaurant and everyone was like, who the hell are they? They're all trying to figure out which actress, you know, cover lady, whatever. I've taken millions of photos. You know, I do it, you know, professionally when asked. But I actually have 450,000 photos on my website, which is 4161100.com. And they're in like 36 different categories. But I have taken a lot of pictures of a lot of attractive people, all dressed, getting goofy here. But those two, you just want to get your camera out and take pictures. And, it's amazing how modest these people are. My wife, we just had our 40th anniversary. But they don't think they're pretty. They just think they're too this, they're too that. I needed to lose weight. I need to do my nails. I mean, it's like unbelievable. And these people are stunning. They're absolutely stunning. But they don't think they're stunning, and they don't want to hear about how stunning they are. I guess it gets them embarrassed, or I don't know what. But anyway, when these two walk into a restaurant or someplace, everyone is turning their heads like, what? Who are these people, and how come they don't have security? It's like, yeah, fortunately I had a big friend, so he looked like security. He was a tight end at Alabama, so he was definitely a big guy, Curtis Crenshaw. Anyway, so, all right, so let's get down to Tesla talk. So we got the car 6 days ago. So today, literally this morning, I get notice, you got a new software update. So get your car linked to Wi-Fi and download your software. It'll take about 10 or 15 minutes to download it, depending on connection speed, and it will take 25 minutes for it to install itself on the car, and which you can't use the car. I mean, you can sit in the car, but you ain't going anywhere. Everything shuts down, so you can sit there with the air conditioner running and you got your phone in your hand, but there's no driving. So the software version is, I got it written down here, 2021.4.18.3. Now I know there was 18.1 and 18.2, and this is 18.3. So when you look at the release notes of 18.3, there is, it doesn't say anything. It just says, minor fixes. I'm going to put this up on the camera so you can see it. Whoops, I can't see my own thing here. It went, here we go. There it is. So, I just put it on there and you can see, I wrote it down, 2021.4.18.3. So you can leave the year off, just like 4.18.3. And it basically says, minor bug fixes and, there's no featured thing. So Elon Musk and the Tesla team, when you look at your phone or whatever device you're dealing with to notice what's going on with Tesla, they say every week, every few days, whatever, they're going to be pushing downloads, to their fleet. Well, we're talking about the fleet of Model 3s and Model Ys, and because this software version goes right into Model 3s and Ys. We have a Y. So we have a model, a Tesla Model Y car. So you go through the VIN number and it's got all these characters, and then it ends up with a 6-digit number. And our serial number is 196,834. So there are 196,000 cars that have been made in the Model Y in the last, I think it's out about a year now. So a year's worth of production. So they're producing on the order of 50 to 60,000 of these a quarter. And then all the other models added together is like 60 or 70,000. The Model 3 similarly has, 200,000, 250,000 cars, in the year. So you divide that by 4, it's like 4 times 8 is 32. So it's, roughly 80,000 cars a quarter. And my Model Y is about 50. So you get 130,000 cars a quarter. So it's all, between the two, it's almost 500,000 cars a quarter, just between those models. Now, I mean, when you compare this to like, you know, the F-150 Ford truck, you know, they throw out 15 million of them a year. You know, but I mean, they've been producing these things, you know, for 106 years. Tesla's been in business since, what? January? No, for about 12 years. And the first 2 years was really tough. You know, it was touch and go on whether they were going to, you know, survive this whole thing. And then Elon, you know, Elon and his people, let's say the top 10 people, engineers, you know, you got the design, Huffle, what's his, I forget his name. I mean, Huffle and whatever. Must have some Germanic history in his bloodstream. But his Hoffenholz, so he's, you know, he's basically pushing Elon into making this car look the way it did, and Elon is pushing him on the way. You know, they're like using modeling clay on how they want this, and they produced what I think is a spectacular looking car. You know, Model Y, the Model 3, the Model S like Sam, and X like Exit. I mean, you line those four cars up, and they are beautiful, you know, four cars. You know, the 3 was supposed to be a Model E, but Ford owns Model E, the name, the trademark. Elon went to Ford and says, please, let me buy it from you, because I really need that name, Model E. You know, I got Model Y, you didn't want to explain exactly why. Well, the reason why is he wanted them lined up with the, you know, S-E-X-Y, sexy. So you, if you wonder how come they came out with Y and all that, it's because you line them up next to each other and it looks real sexy. S-E-X-Y. But he couldn't get E, so he used a 3. So he just turned the 3 around backwards. You know, it's really a Model 3 is the Model E, which Ford owns the title to. He'll just buy the whole Ford company and get that. I bet he didn't think of that. You know, I mean, he's got enough money, you know, at 180 billion. I think Ford company is worth 30 billion. Yeah, it's almost like chump change. You can just buy the whole goddamn company and change the car to Model E like he wants, because he'll own the company that owns the trademark. Crazy. Anyway, so he has decided not to do that, apparently. I don't know if he's thought about it. So if you're out there listening, Elon, go ahead and just buy the Ford company and, you know, give you some, get that that Model E. Just you get the trademark if you own the company. And then, you know, then sell Ford to back to the shareholders and get rid of it. But the Ford company is actually one of the few motor companies that makes a profit. GM is a disaster. You know, they borrowed $50 billion from, you know, government assistance. They did pay it back. I don't think they've paid it all back yet. I still think they got 10 or 15 billion to go. But, you know, and then Iacocca borrowed money in behalf of the company that he was CEO of, and they did pay it back with interest. Anyway, so Tesla's actually making money when you add everything together. I mean, their cars are just, the innovation is just crazy. And, you know, I got a software update. You know, it changes the buttons on the screen. You know, they make this lighter, they make that darker. You know, when you get 500,000 people, they got 500,000 people driving these two cars, the Model 3 and the Model Y. We're Model Y. So, and we all, you know, make comments. I haven't made any comments to them yet because, and you can get right in there and Tech Talk and make suggestions. And if whoever's on the other end of that thinks your suggestion is worthwhile, they run it up the flagpole, which there are probably 20 polls to get it to the point where someone that can make a decision would notice this thing. But I pay attention to everything, so I'll be, you know, it'll be very likely that, you know, Jimmy can come up with a remark. Anyway, but today was the day that I had to update the software. Well, I'm looking around thinking, okay, how the hell do you do that? So this got a little button on the right side of the steering wheel. So I hit the button and I say, hey, how do I upgrade the software? And you could you can ask the car all kinds of questions and it will come up with an answer. So anyway, so that's exactly what I did. I said, hey, well, how do you do this software thing? And then it told me, and I said, well, okay, well, how do I get Wi-Fi? I live in a high-rise apartment building, and there's no Wi-Fi in the garage. There's lights in the garage. They sweep it and everything, but there's no Wi-Fi floating around there. So literally the guy from Fremont, California, who was on the other side of my chat this morning while I'm parked in a parking space, he says, just go park next to, what do you call it? Go park next to Starbucks. Just get a parking spot that's right in front of the store. So that way the Wi-Fi is leaking out the windows, literally. And you can sign on to Starbucks. And he says, that's what I tell the people to do. And they can just do that. And so I did that. I opened up the thing. I said, okay, how do I connect to the Wi-Fi? So I asked the little green screen. You push this button. And I said, okay, how do I connect to Wi-Fi? So then a whole thing came up on the screen on the Wi-Fi thing, and I see all these different Wi-Fi candidates, which I could pick. So, all of them, most of them were locked. The Starbucks one was not locked. So I pushed on it, touched it, it's touch screen, and it was trying to log on to it, and it didn't do it. So then I did it again, and it didn't do it. So you know what I did? I got my trusty iPhone out here. So watch this. This is something you want to remember, which it's no big deal, but so here I go. See Wi-Fi. I don't know if you can see this. It says Wi-Fi RPP801. That's my Wi-Fi thing that I have for our apartment. So I can touch on that and see. There's it. I got the RPP801, and then here's some other. I can connect to this iPad, and then you got all these other things: home this and home that. These are all other people or businesses in the area. Xfinity Wi-Fi, that could be something I could use. But I did instead? Personal hotspot. So, I have it on maximum compatibility. So I turn that on. It's on. And boom, it popped up on my screen in my choices of Wi-Fi things. So that's what I did. I literally used my telephone as a source of Wi-Fi by turning on the internal hotspot. So it would then use the bandwidth that I'm getting through my LTE 4 or the 5 service. So I literally sat in the Starbucks parking lot and turned on my hotspot and linked my hotspot to the car, which was because then as soon as I turned on hotspot, then my phone comes up on the list. So I touched on that, and then I had to put my password in, and I put my password in, and boom, now my car is linked to the hotspot in my phone. This iPhone 12 Max Pro, the biggest one I got. And it's really nice, big screen and everything. It's almost like an iPad mini, but not quite. I think I'd go to 7 inches, round it up to an even 7 inches. They're like 6 3/4. I don't know why they come up with these. They have study groups, with 10,000 people, and they all decide they want this one, they want that one, different sizes, people, different size hands, and all that kind of stuff. When Apple comes up with something, it is thoroughly investigated. They don't just say, "Hey Joe, how big you think we should make this?" That's the way they did it when Steve Jobs was around. he basically said, you know what? I cut out, things out of a piece of real thick cardboard, and I think this is the size, right here. And that's how they came up with the size. They didn't have a study group. The study group was Steve Jobs. And they had two people, that's because he was looking in the mirror. So now, everything is done with, massive amounts of study groups, focus groups, whatever they call that nowadays. Anyway, so there we go. Anyway, so we downloaded. So it said, well, it's going to take 10 minutes or so to download the software, and it's like 4 or 5 megabytes. It wasn't a huge file, and you have a progress bar that goes across the whole screen, a green line, and so then the software is fully downloaded. And it said, okay, next step, it's coming up on the big screen the big screen in the car, and it says the next step, you push this button, and you can either schedule the installation of the software that's now in the car, in a spot, which will execute and install at a particular time. How would you like 1:30 a.m. when everyone's sleeping? And I said, no, I don't want to do that because I want to see how this goes. And it's only 25 minutes, so I have an iPad mini with me and I got a phone with me. So let's just go ahead and push the button and do it right now. So that's what I did. I started it. Actually, I started it, watched it for a little bit, and I was in the public parking space because I needed a couple of things. So I walked in. So it was installing the software while I was walking around Publix. And, it took me about 20 minutes to get done with that anyway, so by the time I got back in the car, it was all done. So now I have 4.18.3. And yesterday I had .2, now I got .3. And it fixed a few things. And they didn't actually go into what it fixed. I called Tesla yesterday. I said, well, what does 18.3 do? He says, well, there aren't any. It just says bug fixes. That's what we released publicly. He says, I have notes that tell me much more specifically what 18.3 does, but I'm not allowed to tell you. I said, okay, let's keep it a secret. So somebody is going to read over that guy's shoulder and find out what it says. I don't need a printout. Just tell me what it does. What are we fixing? So that is not public information. And he basically said, sorry, I can't tell you. This is internal, chatter on what goes on with that. Let me turn that off. Marilyn's iPad is ringing, because someone's calling her phone, and it mirrors it to the iPad. So you can answer it on the iPad and have like a speakerphone on the iPad. Anyway, so I've gone through the entire exercise of downloading 4.18.3 for the Model Y, and I understand the Model 3, Model 3. Also, there was never a Model 2, by the way. Is a Model 3 because it's almost like an E. That's how they came up with 3. You take an E and turn it around backwards, and it's a 3. So I figured, okay, well, if it's a 3 and you turn it around backwards, it turns into an E. So they call the car Model 3. There wasn't a 1 and there wasn't a 2. The 3 is an E backwards because Ford has E. Not many people know that, but that is the truth. Anyway, so by 10:30 this morning, I downloaded the software. I installed the software. It's a two-step, The download took about 10 or 15 minutes. The install took 25 minutes. And it says you will not be able to use your car for 25 minutes. That's why we recommend that you do it at 2 a.m. That way you don't have to worry about, it interfering with when you want to drive the car. And I said, no, I think I'll just do it right now because I'm parked at Publix It'll take me about 20 or 25 minutes to get in this door and get out of this door and walk around a few of the aisles, which, you know, and it did. You know, by the time I came back, we're all installed. So I put the car in doggy mode. I mean, this guy, you know, you can actually camp in the car. I mean, people drive these cars up in the Rockies and, you know, you put the seat all the way back and this and that, or you can get in the back, you know, because it's a hatchback thing, you got the room. And, you know, if you bring a pillow, you can actually stretch out in the back of the car and put it in camper mode, camp, four-letter word, camp mode. And you literally just push camp mode on the screen, and all the doors are locked, the headlights are off. You can have the air conditioner on, you can have the radio on, you know, your favorite music, whatever, or you can have it, you know, put your seat back, put it in camp mode, and watch Netflix. Marilyn and I were watching about 10 minutes of Netflix, and the screen is like brilliant, and you watch Netflix right in your car. So if you ever get stuck in your car and you got to wait, there's terrible traffic, whatever, you can have Netflix on the big screen. You know, and you can have your eye, you know, with the autopilot, it'll keep creeping if you're in a traffic jam. So it'll keep, you know, the car in the lanes. It'll keep, you know, a car distance from the car in front of you. So, and it'll creep and brake and creep and brake. And you don't have to do that. You can just sit there, you know, have your hand on the wheel and generally pay attention and generally pay attention to Netflix. Anyway. So they have camp mode, which, you know, you can't do that driving. But I'm jumping around here a little bit. And then they have dog mode. I call it doggy mode. So what that means is you got your German Shepherd in the back seat, but I want to go in and, you know, get an ice cream cone, or I want to go into, you know, Starbucks and get a, you know, cafe, latte, grande, whatever. You know, no foam. That's what I get. Double shot, cafe, grande, no foam. So they basically fill it up with coffee and steamed milk and all that. And I put in 5 sugars, 5 of those bags, which is about 2 teaspoons and a half of sugar. And, you know, in a 16-ounce cup. So while you're getting that and you have it in dog mode, your German Shepherd in the back seat will not get roasted because the temperature is crazy high. So with dog mode, the air conditioner will keep, when you walk away from the car, it'll lock itself because I have that checked, which is walk away mode, which means it automatically locks the car when you get about 20 feet away from the car. So you don't have to be fooling around looking for what kind of button you have to push. You know, your phone is actually your car key. You don't have to use that little black thing. That's basically for emergency in case your phone's dead or you lost your phone. This way you can get in the car because your car card is in your wallet. Where's my wallet? It's over here. So I don't know if anybody's seen this card. That's my credit card. Here it is right here. So this is the Tesla. I'll put this up near the camera. So that is the Tesla card. See that? Tesla, it looks like a credit card. It's as thin as a credit card. And then on the back, it shows you, hold it up to the column that's between the front window and the rear window in the car. And you just hold the card up against the car in that general location. And you see right here, I think that means you touch it once and it opens the car. You touch it again and it'll lock the car. It'll change the state to whatever it is. So if you're getting out of the car, you do this and the car will lock because your phone is dead. Okay? And when you come back to open the car, there's no radiology or anything. You got to put this thing right up against that column. You see the column right there. You just touch it against that column below the camera. I think you can It just tells you right about in the middle of the column, and your car will either lock or unlock depending on whether you're coming back to the car or you just, you know, it changes the state. So if you're just getting out of the car, it's going to lock the car once you're out of it. So I keep that right there in case, you know, I need to lock the car immediately, and I don't want to wait for I don't want to wait to get 20 feet away. I don't know why I would do that. You know, the battery goes dead on your phone. There can be real reasons. This is my sticker. It's like, these guys are getting pretty sexy, so they can just use their phone and click on this, you know, coded back, and the serial number will come up, and I'll either be a valid. It says resident on there in yellow. So you peel this stuff off and you put this right in the window. So I'll have to find a place where I can put it, you know, on the driver's side window. You put it either up or down. I asked her, I said up or down. She said either way, wherever it's convenient. So I have to put that on the car so they don't, you know, I'm floating around these parking spaces. I don't want to get, you know, towed or something. I already got a sign that said, you know, it's a big green thing. Don't park here anymore or we're going to tow your car. I don't know if I have it. Oh, I do have it. I kept it as a souvenir instead of crumpling it up and throwing it away because they should know I've been in the building for 10 years. So I'm a little bit cocky. All right, is this stapled? Hopefully it's not stapled. That's, whoops, sorry. I got my lease. There's a copy of the lease. 3-page lease. I mean, these guys, they don't mess around. Whoops. It's not in that little package. If it's worth going through all that. There it is. And it's not stable. Look at this. I'll show you. This is green. Looks green. And it says, warning, you're parked in a space reserved for a resident. Well, I'm all right. Yeah, you got to be in the right spot. I was in the right spot. I don't know why I got this. Please remove your car immediately and do not park here again. Earl Palm Place Management. Anyway, so, and the reason why I got that little sign is because I parked in number 265, which says reserved 8 a.m. 5 p.m. Well, I parked in that spot after 5 p.m. because that's next to the outlet where I can charge the car. It's like a dryer. It's like a dryer thing. You know, everyone has a house has a dryer. I mean, they give you a 25-foot cable. You could back into your garage, and because the charging port's in the back, and then you can run around and find your dryer, unplug it, and plug in there, and you can charge your car overnight without having an electrician come out and install another outlet. Now, if you're a little too far away, then the cable stretches. You know that you could buy a dryer extension cord, so to speak, where it's got the 15-45 plug and, you know, male and female. So you could, you know, maybe get a 15-foot one of those, which you could then plug your Tesla cable into, and then you plug the other end into the car. You know, for people that, you know, because to have an electrician put a 50 amp outlet somewhere convenient to where you park your car every night, that could cost you, you know, $1,500. But if you can, you know, buy some 8-gauge wire, three wires, you know, this is like an 8 or 10-gauge wire, the thickness of the wire that's on this charger for my watch. So I have 3 of these wires, you know, embedded in the rubber or the plastic casing. Maybe it's more like, yeah, it's more like this gauge, a little thicker. You can see how that, you know, one of these, this is a braided cable for the, you know, USB-C, which my iPad is USB-C, and the MacBook is USB-C, but you can see that wire. That looks like a 10 gauge, an 8 gauge, or a 10 gauge wire, the copper part. That would be embedded, you know, and you have 3 wires, you know. You got the, you know, the neutral, the ground, and then a 240 volts at 50 amps. So you could just make an extension cord and literally just plug your, you know, plug it right in the dryer vent. So as long as Mama is not drying any clothes tonight, you can plug your car in. And if you're, you know, down to 25% battery, 25% full, you know, you only got a couple of gallons of gas in the tank, you can just, you know, open up that extension cord that you can make. I don't know if you can buy it. I'm going to look it up and see. I may buy one just to have it in the trunk. If I'm, you know, if I'm really in a jam and I can't get my car charged, and I drive over to Bob's house, and his dryer is like in the house a little bit more than, it's not really in the garage. So between the 20 feet I got there, if I get another 20-foot extension cord, you know, then I'm good to. All right, let's try this. 1450. Look at that, 1450 extension cord. Look at that. There you go. Yeah, I got multiple flavors of that. Here's one, Amazon Clear Max. Let's touch this one and see how much. So you got 15 and 30 feet. 15 foot. There's the the plug. If you can see that. Let's put this on number 3. There we go. So now you can see this in full screen. Good. See how fast they do it. Amazon's crazy. They got every damn thing. So here's the. That's a cover they have on there that pulls off, and it exposes the terminals. And see, there's the female side, and there's the male side. And it's waterproof. See, there it is. It looks pretty good. See, there you go. It's for like campers and stuff. They need charging too. So let's see what it's got. Male 1450 male, 1450R female, heavy duty. See, 8 gauge. How about that for a guess? I said it would take 8 or 10 gauge wire. It's 8 gauge. Well, that's good. Yeah. So here's a 30 foot version of that. 50 amp extension cord. Safe and durable. That's a 30 foot extension cord. Now that can get you, you know, and then I got 20 for the cars, so I got 50 feet. So you could literally be 50 feet away. Very interesting. Now this is a little shorty. What the heck's that for? Adapter. Oh, so in case you got a cockamamie configuration on the male plug, you can convert it to the standard 1450. Okay, so anyways, that's interesting. So very cool. So the 14, let's do that again, 14 hyphen 50 extension cord. Look at that. Comes up as a, so I'm not the first character that was interested in that. Alright, so there's the 15-foot version. There's a black one. That's 25 feet. Sponsored. Let's push that. So this isn't as pretty. So there's the 1450. See, and there's the 1450 female. So I would plug, into that, and then this end would go into the into the wall. And let's see, 25 feet, 50 amp. And Model 3, Model S, X, and Y, 50 amp. They don't tell you the gauge of the wire, at least not here. Let's see. No gauge of the wire there. Very interesting. Well, I am very interested. So if I was going over to Fort Myers, I'd want one of these in my trunk of my car. And then so 25 feet plus I'd have almost 50 feet. Which could, wiggle around through his house and charge the car. So then you say, well, hey, does Bob really want to do that? There's one side of the plug. There's the wire. Customer support. Oh, here's the one with green. I don't like those prongs. Those prongs look a little not so good. Let's go back. Let's look at this one. You see how much these prongs are much more heavy duty. And you can touch these and get bigger. Come on. Oh yes, see these? These are big spikes. See that right there? I would be getting this set. If I can. Crap. I'm stuck in this. All right. Oh, here we go. Shrink it back up. 30 feet. Same kind of plugs. Look at this. They even got look at the hand. Oh boy. Let's look at this. They got you put 3 fingers in there. But these prongs are, you got to give it a little bit of a tug, I must say. So I don't like that. And quite frankly, I'd rather have this laying around. Okay, so I'm going to collapse that, and I'm going to put this in the cart. So that one I like. So now I'm going to touch on it again because I want to read a little bit more about it. So this has got 6 gauge wire and 8 gauge wire. Let's see what that means. 6 gauge wire. Now we're talking. Yep, there it is. See gauge of the wire, 6. That's for pole 1 and 3, and it's probably 8 gauge for the middle one, which is a ground. Like a safety ground. Yep. 6 AWG. This is exactly what someone would want. The Tesla battery is, like 75,000 watts of power in that battery, which is like 20 car batteries, in traditional 12 volt. Now this battery is a 450 volt battery. Okay. So now it'll handle 250 volt AC charging because it's got actual chargers inside the car. So when you plug in the nozzle into the car, the female side of that nozzle then analyzes, what do I got here? Do I have 110 volts, which there's an adapter for that? Do I have 250 volts at 50 amps? Or do I have 500 volt supercharger, which when you pull into a supercharger, which is a Tesla thing, those are 450 to 500 volt DC, direct current. So it's like a positive side and a negative side. So when that plugs in to the battery, then it doesn't need to go into the chargers. It goes directly into the batteries. And then there's a whole voltage management system set up for the batteries so that it manages the power that's going in at 400 volts or 450 volts and so many amps. So it manages the voltage and the amperage so that the battery doesn't get overwhacked, with power that it can't quite consume, because Tesla is in the business of making sure that battery lasts 1,000,000 miles. So they don't want you rapid charging it every day, every other day. They want you to plug into the dryer outlet, so to speak, whether you have a custom one next to the car or whether you install the wall thing and all that, or if you're going to use an extension cord or whatever. What I like about the extension cord is if I can lock them, if I can have a spare nozzle, I'd rather use this and not have my Tesla wire stolen. I don't want some wise guy stealing it. So anyway, so if I can plug this in and have a spare nozzle, wouldn't that be cool? There's got to be one of those in here. If I can buy this, I can buy the nozzle. So this is 30 feet. So now between the two, I got 50 feet of connectivity. All right, how cool is that? Well, so I learned how to, I'm charging the car. I'm not now, but I have a spot. It's parking spot 265. It's a 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. parking spot. It's presently vacant. Now, even though it sounds like it's for anybody, it's not. It's assigned to somebody. And if the wrong guy parks there, the right guy can call building management and they'll put one of these green things on your car windshield, which I got, which I didn't deserve to get, but I got it anyway. Because I didn't have the sticker on the car that even verified that I'm a Royal Palm resident. Anyway, so I went down to the main office and I got the sticker and I put it right there. So next time I go to the car, I'm going to wipe off the windshield and try to stick that probably up top, high up in the windshield. So it's not, because you're looking down all the time. You're not really looking up in the windshield. So I don't want this thing in my face. All right, so cool. So I got the software version. I knew it was there. It said, connect me up to Wi-Fi so I can download it. And then let me know when you don't need the car for 30 minutes, because when you push go, it's going to install and you basically can't go anywhere with the car for a half hour. So you can do it at 2 a.m. Or you can do it now so I did it now and I went into Publix. And by the time I got back, it was all done. And the Wi-Fi, I'm using my hotspot. Is that what you call it? What do you call that? Yeah, personal hotspot. So I use my personal hotspot, and others can join if they have the password. And anyway, so I use the personal hotspot, and that's my Wi-Fi connection. So now I don't have to worry about Wi-Fi because I have my phone with me, and I can just download software, in the Publix parking lot while I'm shopping or whatever. Okay, so I started this conversation at 11:45, and now it is 12:44. So I'm going to basically finish up here, and I'm going to give you some more epidemic, because I was told to put on about 60 seconds at the beginning and the end of every broadcast. So now we'll have you'll have a nice little serenade. It's marvelous music. You can just put in epidemic sound instrumental music without copyright. And if you just type all that in your search engine, you'll go right to get it. And it's a 3-hour track. So there's 16,000 people that are using this link because it says right there, over here is 16,000 and 203 people like it. Well, I like it. I love it. So anyway, so with that, have a great day. It's Thursday and it's, it's like 1:15, so it's probably time. I just made some delicious pasta, tomato sauce, which is just spectacular. It's world famous. And everyone that I give it to just loves it. It is really, maybe next time I'll tell you how I make my world famous tomato sauce. And with that, you have a great day. Maybe we'll chat tomorrow.